Hello and welcome to the Yellow Jacket Playoff Review. Randy Young in here along with Jamie Majors, two of the guys from the Yellow Jacket radio crew. As we're going to take you back to the opening round of the state 5A playoffs, Thomas County Central hosting Winder Barrow. We're also going to talk a little bit about the Rome game, which is round 2 coming up this week, and also some of the stuff that has happened this week where the Yellow Jacket fans, the Jacket Nation, and the horns that have become such a part of the culture of Thomas County Central High School and our games has been in the spotlight. The Georgia High School Association has made a ruling that the horns can't be used while the opposing teams, quarterbacks trying to call his signals out to the teams. I mean, we'll get into all that later on. But first off, Jamie, fantastic performance from our guys against Winder Barrow, 70-6. Really hard to ask for much better than what we saw.
Yep, really came out and pedal to the metal.
Yep.
Coach Rogers loves to start fast, and I can say we started fast. We played good in all phases of the game.
Yep.
I couldn't ask for anything more from our guys. They practiced, they played hard, and they never quit playing hard. They never got that. Oh, it's 56-0
at halftime.
At halftime.
Right.
So then our younger kids were able to come in. The number 2s on offense went 2 for 2, scored both times. And the 3s came in and were about the 20-yard line, and offensively
Against their number 1s.
Against their ones.
Yeah.
So defensively, we didn't give up. I think we gave up 1 touchdown in the second half, and that was against the 2 guys. But overall, man, we played really good in all phases. A lot of kids got to play. A lot of kids got a lot of reps, and that's what you want to do to build toward the future.
Absolutely.
But we done a great job doing what we do.
Yeah, back a handful of weeks ago after the Lee County loss, Coach Rogers challenged the team to start finding that corner to turn from being a good team toward being an elite team, which is what he felt like, and I think most everybody felt like what Thomas County Central was last year in the state championship run. So this is the way you kick it off. Winder Barrow comes in. They were the number 3 team out of Region 8, I believe, which is where Clark Central and I can't remember the other ones, but all 4 teams from Region 8 lost. Jackson County, yeah, I can't remember the other ones. But all 4 region teams from Region 2 down here won in those opening round matchups.
Yeah,
in fact, you look at the number 4 team from our region, Houston County, they defeated the region champion from up there, Clark Central, 69-48.
Yep.
In a real defensive battle. But that says something about our region, I think.
Absolutely. I think that we play in one of the toughest regions in the state, and I think that Region 7 is the other really, really tough region where you got quality teams all the way down, and they're seated in there, and their region done really well too.
Yep.
So, but it's good to go to the second round, and 4 of the 16 is from your own.
That's right.
Region. So
that's impressive.
So you've played really good football teams, and outside of our region, a lot of the teams made the playoffs. So we played some really quality football teams, and that's only make you better.
As Coach Rogers says, all regions are not created equal.
Right, and I will say this: I've been kind of keeping an eye on how our team is progressing, and you hit it after the Lee County game. We kind of turned the corner on something. I don't know what we hit on, but I don't know if it was the guys understanding that they could be beat, because you had kind of gotten that.
Well, it was a 26-game winning streak or something.
It had kind of gotten to where you didn't think you could lose.
Yeah.
So I think that helped us refocus.
That reality.
But I've seen the team get way better after the Lee County game, and it seems to be getting better every week.
Yep.
And especially on the defensive side of the ball, on how we get to the ball, and we get there with a lot of force and attitude. And now that's just something that Coach Rogers and Coach Winston, instill in those guys. He says, show up and be violent.
Yep.
He loves to use violence.
Well, that's football.
So that's what we do. So, and our defense is, even though we've got the great pillar guys at just about every level, we're still really young. Yeah. But those guys are not sophomores anymore. Right. They're juniors now. So.
Right. And what you're talking about is having somebody like D. Reddick, who's been recruited nationally back in the secondary. You got Jaden Rubo, who's an all-state linebacker. kind of anchoring the linebacking core, and Cam Brooks, who's a 5-star defensive end, who's a junior, who down on the defensive line. So without any further ado, let's jump into the highlights, and you'll be able to see that corner that Yellow Jackets have been turning as Winder Barrow came into the Jackets' nest. This is the first time that we had ever played the Bulldogs, which spelled their name with two G's, the two G's.
We'll call them the double dog.
There we go. And apparently they did it that way to say that they were doubling their effort than regular dogs, I guess.
Well, I'm glad they didn't come down here with one G.
You ain't kidding. Great job by the maintenance crew from Thomas County Central getting the field ready. The county written in both end zones in white, outlined in blue. And it was a really good night for football.
Yeah.
We had some rain the previous days, but it was in great shape.
Now, the team that we're playing looks a lot like Cairo.
As far as their appearance, there's no question. This is on the first series. Rodney Dunbar, who is a junior wide receiver who has really come on, gets us down in scoring position. And then from the 19-yard line, Jalen Johnson with some hand signals there. And this is a pretty good play. If you got to run a play, Deuce Lawrence over there on that left side, and some good blocking from the receivers. And if he gets a crease, it's over with. Deuce ended the night with 149 yards on 3 carries.
Yeah, I mean, he was efficient.
Yeah, 49.6 yards per carry. I don't know if I've ever heard of anything like that or not. So the Yellow Jackets start the game off and go right down the field, and this is the second possession here. Now they've started splitting Deuce number 2 in motion, and we run a jet sweep to him, and he gets it down to about the 8 or so, if I remember right. But this was called back because of a penalty. But a fantastic run from Deuce, so you can see the effort. And you're right, Winder Barrow looks just like Cairo. So this is right after the penalty. And now A.J. Clark in it running back. But we go deep, and Rodney Dunbar again high points the ball, and it is another touchdown.
And he's not but 6'4".
Yeah.
So when he high points it, he's around the 8-foot mark, I'm sure.
Well, what's interesting about, and here's a defensive play from us, and I think Jaden Rubo comes through and makes a good play right here. Winder Barrow's defense, their safety is a freshman.
And he's good.
And he is the leading interceptor in the whole state. Came into this game with like 7 solo interceptions. This is the following play after the one you just saw. And this time Cam Brooks kind of runs a little stunt and comes right up the middle. And it confused me because I've never seen Cam come up the middle like that. And I didn't know exactly who had made the tackle. I thought it was Eddie Guerrero, who's number 8. And then it was Cam. But another great defensive play. So it's 14-0, and we're about to get the ball back as they will punt to us, and this is possession number 3.
Still 9 minutes left in the first quarter.
Here's A.J. Clark, and A.J. technically running back number 2, but he has come on.
Yes, sir.
And the 1-2 punch between he and Deuce Lawrence is very, very impressive. So now down inside the 10-yard line. Pitch it out there to A.J., and running physical. And look at the blocking from the receivers. Somebody tried to kind of cut him low and, again, made a business decision. And that was that freshman, number 12, instead of trying to go head up with him. So we're ahead 21-0. And to keep other teams honest with special teams, here's what we did. Now, this is a pretty nice-looking onside kick here. Hard to get it a whole lot better than that, and caught it off the first bounce and our ball. That gives, again, opposing teams a whole nother something to have to worry about preparing for.
That's 2 weeks in a row we've run that. And
so here's a 3rd down and 5 play.
you got to respect it.
Oh, no doubt, because we pull it out of our hat. And again, Drew Renaud, who's a senior place kicker, he knows what he's doing with it.
Absolutely.
Spectacular run here from Deuce Lawrence. I don't even know how really to describe this. And then he goes backwards, and then he goes forwards, and then he hits that other gear that seems like only he's able to pull off.
And Randy does have the video slowed down here.
Yes, so you can actually kind of see what's going on.
In syrup or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I slowed it down just so you can see it. And here's a special teams play. Bad snap, and we had good penetration in there and blocked it.
Now, I thought all night after the first snap I seen him, I said, well, we're liable to block about 5 of these punts tonight.
Yeah, the snaps.
This is the only one we really got.
Yeah, the snaps weren't crisp.
No.
Another defensive play, and
There's a lot of good defensive plays.
Little Hawk,
He
Tristan
is-
Flanoy.
That's one that's really come on, and right when we need him to be really solid right there.
Now, we scored a touchdown that we missed. It had some technical issues, but here's another deuce run, and this time from about the 11-yard line. And kind of the same thing. It looks like they've got him hemmed up, and he finds a little crease, and once he finds a crease, Jamie, it's over with.
No, it's been a long time since I've seen a running back that can. He's got some moves like Barry Sanders.
Yep.
When he needs to.
Yep.
But he's got another gear, man. He'll toy with you, and then he hits the gear and it's over.
I don't know that we've ever had a running back quite like him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's.
Credit to the little quarterback here, who is a senior baseball player for Winder Barrow, who's committed to the University of Georgia.
Yep.
Pretty good little play, but he makes a business decision here. Stumbled a little bit, but Trey Pringle was coming in to take care of it to make sure he wasn't going any further.
7-on-7.
That's it. But I admire the fact that young man is a D1 guy, is out there playing quarterback for them.
Yep.
So this is an interesting sequence. We get the ball, and this is after the first penalty for the Horns. Throw a long pass, and there is nobody around J.B. Watkins, who's a sophomore receiver.
No, I think this is Rayburn.
Oh, that's right. I thought it was JB, but yeah, it was Rayburn.
And bless his heart, I kept telling him every time I see him on the sideline, I said, "Man, yours is coming. Yours is coming." And
because this one was called back because of a penalty.
I said, "Man, I'm fixing to be able to tell him he finally got one." But.
Yeah. So they bring it back and go half the distance to the goal. So just remember what just happened on that last play.
Yep.
So after the penalty, we're back at our 6-yard line, and Coach Rogers, instead of trying to go deep again, which was a little too easy, says, okay, let's do something a little closer to the line of scrimmage and see if we can get somebody in space a little bit. And we hit number 12, J.B. Watkins, who's over in the slot there.
But watch the route, how good the route is.
Yeah, it's perfect. And a perfectly placed pass from Jalen Johnson, too. Hits him right in stride. And it is off to the races.
When he splits that, it's done.
Yep, it's over with. So a 94-yard touchdown pass.
Yep.
Coming off of the 90-yard touchdown pass, which was the play before. And remember, this is all before halftime. So now with the extra point, it's 49-0. And we go deep again. And this time, I think this was a J.B. Watkins catch on his back. We missed the play with the camera, but he's laying down. He came back to the ball as the two defensive backs actually kind of outran the play.
Yeah, he's
special. And a sophomore. So now here we go with a second down and about 1.5 feet. We got Kobe Carnage in there, which is the third string running back, who's finally getting healthy, been fighting a hip pointer all year long. And Kobe gets some blocks, and he goes in, and it's another touchdown.
Yep. And Kobe now, with him being healthy, he can go in there and spell those other backs.
No doubt. And he's kind of a combination of A.J. and
But I just
Deuce.
don't know how tired Deuce would have been with 3 carries.
That's true. So here we are. This is in the third quarter. Evan Martin, a sophomore running back who technically is, I guess, the 4th string running back.
Yep.
Runs physically and gets it in there. There's Jamie Maters down there with his hands up.
It's so cool when you've coached. I coached Evan Martin when he was in Y-ball.
Yep. So you've watched him grow up.
I kept telling him if he'd hang in there.
That's Kobe Carnage. And again, we're at the 4th quarter now. And as you mentioned, the 3s and 4s got in, and they moved the football.
Absolutely.
So we ended the night down there at about their 10-yard line after the starters did not play a snap in the second half, and Thomas County Central wins it 70-6. We ended up with 634 yards of total offense. Winder Barrow with 177. Yeah.
I don't know how many times we've had over 600 yards of offense.
It was about as good a night as you could have if you're a Yellow Jacket. So now what that sets up is a rematch with Rome. And the Rome Wolves, one of the traditional powers in the state of Georgia. They are 9-2 coming into this football game. They are the region champions from Region 5. Mm-hmm. And after 2 opening losses, they lost to Carrollton, and they lost to Toombs County.
Toombs.
Two pretty good teams.
Yeah, both of them solidly in the playoffs.
Yep.
And
two really good teams.
Yep.
And they've run off 9 straight.
Yep.
And very, very good, solidly coached team. John Reed, who's the head coach up there,
Yep.
he's built a fantastic tradition. Jamie, last year that game was one for the ages, one of the best football games that I've ever been a part of.
And I think it was the start of the tradition of the horns.
Well, that had actually started kind of mid-season. If you remember, it was Houston County, of course.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. We had to go up there on a Saturday.
Yep. And they had a student section that were very fond of their horns, and they had challenged our crowd, and that was a mistake. And that kind of snowballed to where we are now.
But one of the best high school football games I think I've ever witnessed.
Yep.
We never led in the football game until 3 seconds left or 1 second left or whatever.
Or no seconds left.
We tied it.
Yep.
But then we coming down and we kicked the field goal. And Drew Renault, our senior kicker, made a great kick.
Yep.
And it was one of those Marist type 90s games that we had, you know?
Yep.
And, but man, what a game. I was nervous the whole time. I just didn't know if we had it. Like Coach Rogers said, it was going to come down to a handful of plays, and we just actually made some.
Maybe
we got a
one
turnover.
more. Yep.
We got the turnover to get the ball back, and then we made the kick.
Yep.
So.
And of course, this particular game, I think whenever you look at these two teams, I don't know that either one of them is quite the team that they were last year.
Yeah.
Rome lost some really good defensive players. They had a fantastic defensive end and a linebacker that were as good as I've ever seen. They've got new quarterback. In fact, they've changed quarterbacks now twice this season.
Okay.
And have landed on a young man who is more of a mobile quarterback, but he doesn't have the deep threat arm. At least like we saw last year, they really aired it out quite a bit deep. But it sounds to me like, Jamie, it's just going to be another classic matchup between two really, really good teams.
Could be another great football game. I feel like that our offense may be a little better than last year. It's hard for me to say that. But golly, we're playing so good.
Yep.
But defensively, I think we're a lot younger than we were last year. So, but I still think we're playing very good.
Agreed.
I like our chances to play well.
Yep.
And but like you said, man, it's going to come down to a handful of plays, and you got to make them. And with our 12th man, that'll be there supporting us, and with all the surprises we probably plan to show up with Rome with. I guarantee you, our crowd will not be outdone by not being able to bring a horn into the stadium.
No, and what Jamie's referring to, and I mentioned it back at the beginning of our little program here today, is the Georgia High School Association has made a rule here in the middle of the season that the horns, the vuvuzelas that have become a big part of what we do, are not going to be allowed to be used to disrupt what the opposing offense is doing. And it turns out Rome made a stadium rule for their fans and everybody else after our game last year that those horns are not allowed in the stadium. Now, with that said, if you're a Yellow Jacket fan and you're listening, that doesn't say anything about cowbells, that doesn't say anything about those thunder sticks, it doesn't say anything about kazoos or megaphones. It just cannot be the vuvuzelas or a motorized type horn that's going to disrupt the game. But, based on what I'm hearing, Jamie, I think they may have stirred up more of a jacket's nest than they thought they were going to, because I think a lot of folks that might have said, we would just sit this one out, have decided to go on up there and try to make some noise for us.
Absolutely. And that we'll show up.
No
we always travel well, and I can't wait to get up there. That stadium's very nice.
It is.
And the fans are very nice up there. Their folks are real nice. In fact, they had a lot of nice things to say to us after the game,
In fact, online, their fans were saying, we don't care if you come up here and beat us every year. The atmosphere that we had was electric with you guys here, and as good as we've ever had.
So,
I
like it.
Yep. It's lined up very well for Thomas County Central. Of course, this particular game is the second round. If Thomas County Central is able to win this game, then we will get the winner of Roswell and Langston Hughes next week, and that one will be on the road as well. The Georgia High School Association has already had their coin toss, and we didn't win that. I know that comes as a total shock to the Central fans. So if Roswell, whomever wins that game, Roswell or Langston Hughes, we will be heading toward their place next Friday. We've got to get past this one first.
That's right. Hey, we can only win this week.
That's right.
We need to be 1-0 this week, and Coach Rogers has been stressing that. So there is no tomorrow. So
Win, you move on. You lose, you go home.
Absolutely. So,
Yep. Take care of our business. And we will be back next week here. We'll bring the highlights of the Rome game in and talk about them. And hopefully we'll be able to give you a preview of Hughes or Roswell. But let's take care of Rome first and move on to round 3. Jamie's looking forward to it.
I am looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the road trip Friday.
Oh my gosh, here we go. Yeah, it is legendary when the radio crew gets on the road.
So
not enough time to talk about it tonight.
There'll be a book someday.
Jamie, thanks for coming by, buddy.
Hey man, it's awesome. As always, I enjoy doing this stuff, and thanks to Austin and Reams and they're working with us on this. This is awesome, and I'll go Jackets.
Amen. We'll see you next week right here on the Yellow Jacket Review.